Going live in five, four, three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special episode of Kareem Talks. It is Sunday. It is very busy. It has been a very busy day for me. But you know what? That just comes with the territory of being the man that I am. But we're not here to talk about me. We are here to talk about the importance of education, which is why my wife, the owner, CEO, and headmistress of the Homeschooler Society is here, but she is not the only guest. If the rest of my wonderful guests could please come off mute and turn their cameras on. Yeah, one by one. Let's bring them all on. Oh, yeah. Everybody's here. All right. So before we get into our topic, we have to let the guests introduce themselves. Seeing as though my wife is like right next to me, it only makes sense that she reintroduce herself because she is a returning guest technically. But a lot has happened since she was on my show. One, she got married to this guy right here. But enough about that. Please introduce yourself.
Praise be to Allah. Well, assalamu alaikum to all. Greetings, peace be unto you. My name is Sister Sabbath Muhammad. I am the owner, founder, CEO of the Homeschool Society LLC, online virtual learning for K through 8th. We just opened up for middle school. Let's see. I started the online school last year of 2020. Summer of last year, if you will, and we launched in September for the 2020-2021 school year by the grace and mercy of Allah. The reason why I started previously before summer of last year, we all know what last year was, the 2020 COVID. Woo!
We love COVID. We love COVID.
So the reason why I started the school was because I was working at an elementary school in Columbus, Georgia, prior to the pandemic. That's really where I found, my calling, really, just tremendously. So with that being said, I was working at the elementary school in Columbus, and once COVID hit and the pandemic started, I knew my class, I knew my students, I knew children, and children pick their nose when it's not a pandemic. And then try to, Miss Muhammad, I gotta sneeze. So I knew that I was not. That's nasty. I knew that, with everything that was going on in terms of the laws at that time, and, they were saying, oh, we're just gonna, well, the way my school was beginning to do it, everybody was crazy and frantic, and they're like, oh, we're going to just teach them 10 by 10. And, no. So I said, no, this is not for me. And it's crazy, making a long story short. I asked Allah when I quit, and I said, peace, love you all during the summer. And I asked Allah to find a way for me to obtain income and still do, what I'm meant to do. And Allah blessed it through somebody else, because Allah definitely speaks through people. Right. Let's make no mistake about it. And he answers prayers if we call to him in his proper name. So let's also make no mistake about that. Half the time we'll complain to other people and not come to Allah. So that's my little testimony. But when he answered my prayer through somebody, I got it to moving. And so we're growing, and there's a lot of people on the waiting list still registering. So praise be to Allah. It's been beautiful this far. So that's Sister Sabbath in terms of education.
And you'll see her commercial later.
Praise be to Allah.
Moving all the way from Georgia to Huntsville, Alabama. Is that correct? Huntsville? Yes, no? Where you are now?
Oh, no, sir. I'm in Savannah.
Savannah, Georgia. My
Tasha
apologies.
was in school and
At
in
Huntsville.
the study
Okay.
group in Huntsville. Yes, sir.
Okay, so you
Yes, sir.
GA, praise be to
Oh, yes, sir.
Allah.
Yes, sir.
Praise
Yes,
be
sir.
to Allah. Bringing to the stage next, all the way in Savannah, GA. She was, she wasn't in the initial, but I was just like, I can always use more educators on the show. Bringing to the stage the mother of the guest of my last show, Brother Kashta, Sister Brandy Muhammad, who is an educator in her own right, but I'll let her go into that.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. How's the family doing today?
Fine by Allah's grace and mercy.
So thankful to you all for allowing me to come and speak about what I try to offer in the form of education. I am certified in a few states: Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Nebraska. But I initially started homeschooling my own children over 20 years ago. And this was before it was very popular in our community, in the Black community. So against all obstacles, against all stares, against all questions, I followed what I believe the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and most importantly, Master Farad Muhammad had given me, which was the best for your child is to homeschool or to school your own. And so that's how I initially got into homeschooling, was because of my own children, wanting them to have knowledge of self, wanting them to be proud of who they are and understand that, yes, you can do science. Yes, you can do art. Yes, you can do history. Yes, you can do math. But it all boils down to Master Farad Muhammad, Allah. He's in everything. And so I wanted them to have God with them in their education. So I did that. And I'm also a certified family and consumer science education teacher. And most people, when I say family and consumer science or facts, they go, what is that?
So that's what it stands for.
Yes, family and consumer science, which is the new name for home economics. The same thing. In the rest of the world, it's still known as home economics. But in the United States, they changed the name about 30 years ago because they wanted to get away from that connotation of cooking and sewing. That's all we had to offer, was just cooking. So they changed the name, but it's still the same. We do cook because we know the science of food. We do so because we understand the pattern of, designing our own clothes and making sure that they look beautiful. But we also do financial literacy. We do child development. We do career development. So everything that has to do with life in general, you find it in family and consumer science. And so not only do I tutor anybody who wants to do, homeschooling or, offer demonstrations on plant-based eating, if you want to learn how to sew, all of those different things. But anybody who wants to navigate and go into homeschooling for themselves, I would more than love to help you do that. I had to do it the hard way myself. So I made a lot of mistakes in trying to find out the way. But after 20 years, I can tell you, I can help you if you want to homeschool your child. I can help you with the laws for your state so that you can see what you have to do along the way. One last thing, I did teach public school this past year during the pandemic, and a lot of the students struggled with online school. They struggled big time with online school. Now, I say a lot of them, but not all of them. I did have students who flourished in online school, the students who wanted to learn, the students who didn't have to worry about being bullied, the students who didn't have to worry about the fights that were distractions, the students who didn't have to worry about, just everything outside of the education going on in the classroom. So they loved it. They were able to focus and learn and succeed. So I'm thankful for that opportunity. It was a learning experience for me, but I think this is, like Sister Sabbath said, this is where Allah wants me to be online.
Praise be to Allah. Leaving Georgia for a minute. We'll be right back. We're going to go all the way to New Jersey. Is that right, New Jersey? No, not anymore. Where you at now? That's right. Wait. She's down here now too, isn't she?
So we're not leaving Georgia.
We're not leaving Georgia. We just all. It's just a Southern reunion. That's right. That's right. You are down here now. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm right here in Georgia.
I was thinking I already.
You weren't far off. I moved from there, but I am in Georgia. I'm Muhammad Moss, number 15. So I'm here in Georgia.
Praise be to Allah. We just families down here now. All right. Well, we ain't got to go nowhere. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do as an educator.
Okay. So my name is Sister Malia Muhammad, and I've been educating everywhere. I'm a multi-educator because even though I service mainly younger children, I have always been given the opportunity to teach children of all different ages and to work with.
Oh, I think we're having a couple of technical
with educating action.
Okay. It was just a little bit, you froze for a little bit, but you know what? I'm just gonna wait and then let it go, you know.
So
it's all right.
Part, I don't know what happened. Which part did you all not?
It froze when you were talking about you were an educator, and then it came back and I didn't know where you were. Go ahead. What I'm gonna do now, every time it freezes, I'm gonna pause and wait until you come back.
All right. So so I've been my history with education has actually started since I was young myself. I always had this natural inclination towards teaching. It's always been a gift of mine. And I always say that to people because I think that in like today's society, because teaching has been made like, you know, you have to get formal training and you become a teacher, which is good, which is great, which I've also gotten formal training. But I think that sometimes it's forgotten that teaching is a gift. And there are a lot of people in all parts of the world who haven't been afforded the opportunity to get formal training, but they are natural teachers and they have impactful experiences for children. And so I kind of fall in that category of just always loving to teach and having the gift to teach. And I specialize in teaching the kindergarten through second grade range. I love teaching those young children. And so I started off teaching in like early childhood education centers. And then I have continuously for years taught in different MUIs. So I've been in MUI, I've helped out in MUI New Jersey. I taught in MUI New York City. I did some classes for MUI DC. So I've helped with a lot of the MUIs. And as many times as I have said, like, okay, I'm going to take a break from education, Allah just continuously brings me.
He said, you ain't going nowhere.
Yes. And so in 2020, I launched my business called EduExcel. And what I do is I offer custom-made workbooks for children. I design the workbooks myself. I get them printed so that parents and teachers can use my workbooks in their schools or in their homeschool. And it's just books that cover the major subjects like math and reading. And then I also provide tutoring for elementary students. And I'm really excited about that aspect because I feel like a lot of times tutoring comes when they're a little older. And a lot of times it may be missed that children at an age need tutoring as well and not to wait until they are struggling. I'm very big on having tutoring as not as like emergency. So I love, I've been enjoying this year of just tutoring and offering courses to children and providing workbooks for those that need it. So that's my experience.
Wow. She's a teacher and she makes workbooks.
Yeah.
I better get this information at the end of the episode. Don't say I ain't never did nothing for y'all. Y'all better get all the information they leave at the end, all the self-promo. All right. Well, now that we've had our beloved sisters and my wife, let's bring the brothers to the front stage because, yes, we have male teachers. Male teachers are important. So let's bring my brother, your brother, Brother Kadeem, to center stage. How you doing, family?
Come on, brothers. Honored just to be here, sharing space and time with you all today. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Brother Kadeem. I just finished my second year teaching fifth grade, literature and social studies. I teach at Genesis Innovation Academy, it's a charter school in Atlanta, Georgia. And much like you all, I always had like a natural inclination, I would say, to teaching, but it was an ignored inclination for a long time. Just going through school, of course, teaching wasn't the glamorous job. It wasn't, especially public school system teaching was seen as a job that was, more or less for the bottom. But of course, once I grew through high school and whatnot, my inclination started to grow because having a thirst for knowledge and always having that passion to want to do something more impactful in the community, like from a direct standpoint, to work in a normal 9-to-5 job and whatnot was still growing in me. But of course, I ignored it for a while and whatnot. So I went off to college and whatnot. And after a certain amount of time, of course, what I was studying was, one, not of interest to me, and two, was not my skill set, not my gift. So I ended up getting some grades that I thought were too, you would think they were so low that impossible to get them. But hey, we here now. So I had, after recovering from getting such low grades, I had to basically realign my focus in school and realize, okay, I'm already done spent this amount of money in school and whatnot, and time is passing me by. What do I want to do if I'm going back to it? So just, I guess, like you all said, Allah puts in your heart what your purpose is, and He will take you through a journey. If you're ignoring, if you ignore your purpose,
That's right.
Obstacles will come to you that will make you revert back to it. And praise the God, here I am now, teaching. So that's
praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. All wonderful testimonies, and we are already 20 minutes into the episode. Whew. Praise be to Allah. First question I want to ask, and by the way, before I start asking questions, those of you in our live audience, feel free to leave questions in the YouTube chat box. I will be looking for your questions, but I have to start off first. Icebreaker man right here. How would you describe your life as a teacher? What are the things that you have to deal with, trials and tribulations and whatnot, especially nowadays in this pandemic, where mostly everyone has been forced to do online schooling? What are the trials, tribulations, and triumphs, because we want to keep it positive as well, of teaching? So whoever wants to tackle that first.
I would say teaching in general, I think virtual and in person, the challenges have been similar when it comes to, just trying to teach the children, dealing with parents, dealing with logistics. That is the same. But what I will say is different is that teaching virtually has really called on teachers to find such creative ways to keep students engaged. It has really forced us to be like, I always was kind of like an actor in the classroom. So I had high attention rate, but like I have to be even more, because you can't go up to that student and touch their hand. You can't go up to that student and see what they're doing. It's a lot more work to connect with the child through the computer. But at the same time, it has afforded us the opportunity to take students from everywhere. So that's one of the triumphs, is that we've been able to, as educators, those, as we all said, we're passionate about it and it's our calling. It's been fulfilling to know that we can reach children everywhere and not just in our school or in our area. So the virtual has helped with that. But the challenges in general as a teacher are definitely, just trying to keep, in my business, I call it the TPS connection. It's called the teacher parent student connection. And I really, really, really take a lot of pride in trying to make sure that the flow of communication between myself as a teacher and the parents is very smooth, so that it can best affect and benefit the student. So I would say that the biggest trials is trying to keep all lines of communication open, keeping up with all of the lessons, that you have to always plan. There's never a time as a teacher that you're not planning. What am I going to do next? What am I going to teach? How am I going to teach it? What homework am I going to give? Forget homework. What classwork am I going to give? What practical application am I going to give? How can I have the student engage with the computer screen? But at the same time, the big is trying to make sure that as a teacher, you keep in mind that the student is also tried by the environment as well. That can be kind of challenging, because sometimes when you're in an authority figure, you're in an authority space, you're kind of like, I'm a teacher, just listen to me. But sometimes you have to back up and say, this child, so on the receiving end of this environment, and it's hard to just stare at a screen and listen. So just trying to find engaging activities and keep everything smooth. That's been the biggest challenge.
That's definitely real. That's definitely real in this online space. Anyone else? What are the trials, tribulations, and triumphs in your life as a teacher? Go ahead.
It's so weird because everybody else doesn't have to raise their hand. But anyway,
You here?
Here present. So for me, I'll start off with the positive. The positive, and this is just always, it's crazy because you never know for what you're meant for. Allah sends you signs throughout your life, right? And when I remember when I was in middle school, my teacher told me, Sabbath, you should be a teacher. I was like, nah, you don't know what you're talking about. And so even Allah kept pulling me back, and I was trying to go other way. I was trying to go to agricultural science, and I was trying to go to med school, and I went so many different ways, but I found myself back here when I've always been teaching. I've always been a tutor, always, like literally from middle school to college, like, oh, I know how to do it. Let me help you. Let me show you how I know. So the beauty in it, the pro, I guess, I don't really believe in cons. I believe in learning. However, the pro or the beauty in it is just having a child say, Miss Muhammad, I understand. I got it. That just we both do a woo. Like I'm very animated. I'll do a woo in the physical classroom, and I'll do a woo on the my neighbors know that I teach.
Facts. Actual facts.
So, and then I literally have them give me a virtual high five, like just come here, just bam, just like. And they'll do it with me, and they feel so proud that they got it. And my motto for every classroom is, because it is, by the grace and mercy of Allah, my school, if we have to go over in that class, we'll go over in that class. Even though we have a lot of children, if one doesn't understand, we're going to stay in that class. So even though math normally ends at 9, no, we're going to go a little bit over into English time, because you all get English for today, but for whatever reason, math is not sticking. Let me find out why. So the biggest thing for me is just for having a child say, I understand. I guess the part 2 to the pro, I'm not going to cover the whole question because I can talk. So I'll just cover the pro. So the biggest thing, the other pro for me is a child opening up to me about anything other than school. Because the fact of the matter is, we have children that come into class and their learning is prohibited because of whatever they went on prior to coming to class, or maybe the day before, or maybe that whole week. And then so they can't learn history, whether it's American government or Black studies. I teach Black studies. They can't learn it properly because they have something else on their mind. And so I remember the first day, our first orientation, I told them, because I tell them all my business. They know about my husband. They know about what I cook every day. I tell them all my business because I want them to not tell me sensitive things per se, but be open enough with me. Whereas if they feel like they can't tell anyone around them, because I've had that in the public school. I worked in the blackest of the Black neighborhoods, and I wish I could say back then it was a better, in terms of our neighborhoods and our schooling, but right now it's not. So I worked in, a neighborhood where, mommy and daddy, well, either dad is in jail and mom was on drugs and auntie hates you. I mean, the children will come to me. My auntie physically hits me. So that's a big thing for me. For a child, look, we're going to stop learning for a sec. I will have a whole conversation. And by the grace and mercy of Allah, each and every one of our students, we have 100% passing rate this year. So praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. The lowest score was a B. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy. But no, I will stop the class. If it's super personal, we're going to a breakout room so you can tell me what's going on. So those are two. When a child can open up to me, that's a win, because I tell my children all the time, I'm your second mom. I am mother. Mother nurtures. Up until you leave my virtual classroom, I am mommy. I'm gonna tell you what it is. I'm gonna tell you what it ain't. I'm gonna tell you what you need to do. I'm gonna tell you what you should do. And I'm gonna do it with the grace and mercy of Allah, only with love. And I want you to feel it. I said, no, look at me. I don't care if we're in a because I'm a very animated person. I know your eyes move your eyes back. Look at me. And I have not touched them in terms of a hug. We're in a virtual environment, but they feel that love from me. And all the parents, by the grace and mercy of Allah only, they told me that. They said, how do you do it? They feel the love. So that's the biggest thing. Having a child open up. I've had some, when I tell you the public school, I worked at the blackest of black and the whitest of white. So the best of both worlds, right? Quote unquote. So, yeah, it's a war zone. And if we don't know what weapons, and when I say weapons, our books are a weapon. Shoot, a weapon is anything you can battle with. Just me talking to you in a smooth tone is a weapon, right? Because who am I fighting against? I'm fighting against all those who don't care about education for real. I'm fighting against those who don't care about Black education for real. I'm fighting against those who only care about finance. I didn't do this for money. My husband be paying the bills. What? But it's a war zone.
Mm-hmm.
So really, to be able to come with my battle plan, and for a child to open up to me, and for a child to tell me that they understand, those are the biggest things for me, like every day. So all praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. I was gonna wait till 8:35, but now is as good a time as any. We're gonna go for a brief commercial break, and then we're gonna ask some more questions. So if everyone can please go on mute and turn your camera off, and we may begin our commercial break.
Hi, my name is Raiden Scott. My name is Yasmin. It's Jamari X. Allen. Go to the Homeschooling Society. Go to the Homeschooling Society. I attend the Homeschooling Society.
Greetings. My name is Sabbath Muhammad, founder, owner, and CEO of the Homeschooler Society, LLC.
Here at the Homeschooler
Hi, my name is Raiden Scott. My name is Yasmin. It's Jamari X. Allen. Go to the Homeschooling Society. Go to the Homeschooling Society. I attend the Homeschooling Society.
Greetings. My name is Sabbath Muhammad, founder, owner, and CEO of the Homeschooler Society, LLC.
Here at the Homeschooler Society, we pride ourselves in bringing full and complete understanding to all of our students. Our method is simple, not moving on until the child fully understands.
I do what I do as an educator because I remember when I was in elementary school, middle school, and high school.
I remember teachers and educators not showing as much care and patience as they could. This widespread way of teaching drives me to do what I do.
And we are back. I apologize for those technical difficulties. My commercial went full screen instead of just regular screen for whatever reason. But we are back, so all my guests can come back and come off mute. By the way, for those of you who are interested in enrolling your children in the Homeschooler Society, please visit at Sabbath Muhammad on IG. That is at Sabbath Muhammad on IG for more information on the Homeschooler Society, as well as the rest of my other guests' handles, but we'll do that at the end of the show. Also, I have merchandise. Go to welcome-to-KareemTalks.com. Buy you a t-shirt. Don't buy a hoodie because it's summer right now. It's hot. Also, I have snapbacks. Also, for any of you who have whether it's teaching, you have a food truck or whatever, I make commercials. I will put your business on my page and on my show for a fee. So hit up at Kareem Talks on IG. All right. Support your boy. Now, back to the show. Another question that came to my mind as you all were talking about your experiences with public school. What would you say to parents who are hesitant to homeschool their child or to put them in a school like MUI or the Homeschooler Society or what did you say yours was?
EduExcel
or
yeah.
Facts for Life Education. What would you say to that parent who is hesitant in putting their child in like a homeschooling environment versus sending them directly to public school? And I'm going to open that up to Brother Kadeem. Can't be no silent giant. Not on my show.
Gotcha. Well, simplest form is to look at those who are already enrolled in them, look at the success rate as compared to what we have in public school. You know, as one of the things in a lot of our communities, lower income communities, the most common theme amongst nearly all of them is that they all are paired with a failing school system. And so just looking at what your alternatives are, you see in the public school system now, as I've known and seen, a lot of them rely on standardized testing as a means of gauging students and whatnot. And one of the things I like about the school that I teach at is we have what is called an E5 curriculum. The curriculum consists of economics, engineering, expression, ethics, and one more that I can't think of at the moment. But that curriculum is supposed to cultivate more of the student than just passing the test. Because one of the things they don't like to tell people in the schools is funding for schools comes off of their test scores, not if their students are passed, not who's college ready. It comes off of what you look like on paper. And of course, we deal with people, and in the people business, that's one thing about teaching that makes it one of the most rewarding, but also mentally exhausting professions is that we're dealing with people. And I can plan as much as I want to, but I can't tell a 10-year-old how he's going to act today. So to answer that question, just really looking at the results and the product you get from a homeschooling environment, which my siblings, my younger siblings, they do school online and whatnot. And a lot of parents, they wonder because they wonder, okay, maybe my child missed the social aspect of school, but my sister's also in the marching band and whatnot. And that's one thing she also enjoys. So it's really just taking the time and the effort, because as the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. Your teacher's raising you, but the parent has to have much involvement in education as well, which unfortunately we see in our communities. A lot of times parents send their child to school and it's just, all right, he with you for 9 hours. That's it, he home now, which is not really benefiting. So to answer the question in summary, it's just to look at the product you get from the regular public school environment and compare it to those success stories in homeschooling.
That's right.
I believe anybody that's really concerned about their child's education will make that right decision.
Right.
Sister Brandy, would you like to follow up behind that?
Sure. I would say the majority of the time, people fear what they don't understand.
Mm.
And so they've been fed this misinformation about homeschooling, or, like the brother was saying about isolation, or not being able to socialize, not being able to do this. They try to paint this picture of all of this negativity.
That's right.
And so they fear that. I don't want that for my child. But it really is not only educating the child, but educating the parent as well, so that they can see the beauty of homeschool, that they could see how they are able to set their own schedule, I know, personally speaking with my children, we had to do math in the morning. We had to do math in the morning. If I waited to after lunch, it just wasn't going to click. But when we did that first, right after prayer, oh, they had it every time. So knowing your own child, knowing when they function best with what subject, you're able to do that with homeschool. You're able to decide the different curriculum. If you are Muslim, if you are Christian, if you are Hebrew Israelite, whatever faith that you have that you want to help instill into your children, you are able to do that. You become, completely in control. And then also, if you are unsure about certain subjects, maybe math isn't your thing, maybe science isn't your thing, you're able to reach out to tutors to get that help that you need, so that you still are the homeschool educator, but you might have this online math assistant who helps in that area. So it's really just making sure we inform and educate the child and the parent to what homeschool can offer.
Beautiful answer. Beautiful answer. My next question, if there are no questions from the audience, my next question is: have you established a personal connection to the students that you're teaching? And if so, would any of you like to give a testimony?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. I think that's a great question that follows up behind, the benefits of homeschooling. Because I think that when you're in a public school or a larger school, I will not say that it being in those schools will stop you from establishing a personal relationship. I won't say that, because
Satan's messing with the connection.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
okay.
We got you.
So I was going to say, I wouldn't say that public school or charter school affects your ability to have a personal relationship, because I think Sister Sabbath is a perfect example of that. She taught in those schools, but those children still established a personal relationship. So it really depends on the sincerity of the teacher. But I will say that, to Sister Brandy's point, when they see what and Brother Kadeem, when they see what they'll get, and when the parent understands that they have the flexibility, it not only establishes a better personal relationship, but now you have a personal relationship with the parent. And that is missing in the public school. That is school, because we have a personal relationship with them on a day-to-day basis. Like, those children were speaking to Sister Sabbath, like, I find refuge in you and I need it. But how often, Sister Sabbath, were you able to go and have a, chit chat with the parents? It's not exactly the same, because you have all of these, rules, and you have all of these things that you have to be careful of. But with homeschool, it's like this parent is coming to you asking you, can you educate my child? That right there is a personal relationship.
Exactly.
So for me this year, I've gotten to homeschool. Did like a full course for one student, and the rest are all just tutoring students. But I treat my tutoring students the same way I do my class students. I give them a full class. Because I care about them getting the information. It's not just about like, can we be done? I want you to get it, and I'll keep going until you get it. Right, and so with all of them, honestly, all
praises due to Allah.
Praises due. Very and when I say personal, what happens is I'm able to actually cater and customize the education to that child. So even if I'm teaching a class, it doesn't have to be one-on-one homeschooling. Even if you educate parents to understand that homeschool in general, even if they're going to be in a large class of homeschool, it's still going to be personalized, because anybody that sets out to homeschool children, like they are branching away from the school with a salary to homeschool children, that means that they are doing it because they're like, I know that each child needs something different.
Right.
And you can cater, and if you're a skilled teacher, you can cater to each student in the class. So you're just, I won't at all say that schools are, it's just that the school system has gotten away from what really matters.
Definitely.
And it's more about, like Brother Kadeem said, the test. How do you show up on the test? It's the same. They're preparing them for this world. And this world says you are judged by your resume.
There we go.
So that's what schools are doing. You're judged by your test scores, not realizing that there are children that are excellent test takers because they can memorize, horrible with practical application. And then you have students that are excellent with practical application,
Right.
but they are not good at test taking. So you're
Satan just hating. He wants everyone to
you're
just
just
go to
preparing
public
a
school.
student for this world. So I know it kind of, on my end, it froze a little bit. I don't know how much you all heard.
It's all right. We got everything we needed.
Yes. So
Jules dropped.
The gist is that, you can establish a personal relationship based on your sincerity as a teacher, and homeschooling definitely provides that platform to be able to do that.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Definitely.
Any testimonies? What?
Yes. So like Sister Malia said, like I said, for me, there's a lot, because my children and I are my students and I are very, very, very open. I both in the public school as well as the my online school. I've had, like I said, I just mentioned a boy that came to me and told me about his aunt. I've had a little girl. I don't even want to mention that one. I've had another little boy tell me about an addiction. This is when I was working at the Blackest of Black schools. I've had another little boy tell me no one listens to me. And, I in that situation, I called someone to sub the class for a few minutes. Literally, because listen, I need to stop, because if a child, for me, I'm the type, I just like to stop. I like to stop whatever, because it's for example, if a house is on fire, you don't go say, oh well, yeah, I have somewhere to go. That's just my logic. So I will have someone else take over my class while me, as now mommy, goes to take care of this child's mind, because it's really all about their mind. It's all about their heart and their mind. That's all. It's to ensure that you're okay for the future. It's love. So that's the tears that I've had working in the public school, and really both tears, but in the end, tears of joy, when it's just me and that child and they're just hugging me and they're like, thank you. Again, online school, same thing. I've had one of the little boys, and I have a large population of boys. I only have a couple girls.
And they fresh. They very fresh. I done had to.
Lord. One of the little boys, he goes and tells me that he's not excited about his sister coming, and all this stuff. On the flip side, we stopped the class to make sure that each and every one of them had rapper names, and so I like to be, learning is fun. And that's what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said in Closing the Gap. Learning should be fun. Once you make it a chore, you take the fun out of it. No, you should know this because, one, it's awesome. Two, you're going to need it. Now, I don't take out the necessity. I tell them, you're going to need this for life, but it's amazing. It's cool. I was a nerd growing up, an energetic nerd. So I was. Anyway, so there's that. I love what Sister Malia said about the relationship with the parents. I've had the flip side, again, both in public and online school. I'll start with online school. My relationship with my parents on online school is just really phenomenal. Each and every one of them friend me on Facebook. I have my children come in early every day. They never fail to come in early. And then when they come when they come in, that's normally the time that right before parents go to work. So I have a chance to talk to them. It can be as simple as, hey, how you doing? Is everything okay? How's the baby? And it can be as deep as, hey, what do you think about this? And it'll go all the way up until class time starts. So I have a really good relationship with my current parents. The public school, I've had people threaten to kill me. No joke. Yeah. The whole doors had to be locked. I worked in a very ghetto school. Very ghetto school. Man, I'm still here. All praise is due to Allah. But yeah, I did have good relationships with some of the parents there though. But our people are in a dire condition, so I don't judge any of them. It was scary, but I don't judge them because we're messed up. We really are. We really need that re-education for our whole community. So yeah, Lord. Yeah.
She said, Lord have mercy. Have mercy on my soul.
Stories I could tell from that school. Ugh, Lord have mercy. Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah.
Praise be to Allah. My last question before we go into closing comments, and believe it or not, this has only been streaming for like 40 something minutes, because I guess late start, but better late than never. My last question is, in this journey of teaching, what have you learned the most about yourself? What have you learned about yourself in the field of teaching? I'm not even gonna pick whoever feels in the spirit.
Well, I'll go. I will say I've always, I think all of the panelists said the same thing, that it has to be in your heart. The love of children. It's not a glamorous profession. So you have to have the love there first, the gift to be a teacher or an educator. And so that's always been a blessing that I've had since I was little, where I wanted to, teach or play school or something all along the way. But I would say what I learned about myself is that I can overcome. I can find a way, even with the most difficult of situations, the most difficult of parent interactions. Like Sister Sabbath was saying, our people are in a dire situation. So a lot of times when they're speaking to us, a lot of times when they're interacting with us, it's not them. It's not them. It's the way that they have been trained or not trained to react. And so that comes back on us to, okay, I got to put into practice Study Guide 18, rising above emotion, because if I get down there with them, we're not going to, solve anything. So that's the biggest thing I've learned about myself, trying to rise above emotion. Let's see how we can, help this student. And I'm thankful when I was able to teach, family consumer science online. It wasn't just to the student. Literally, sometimes I could see the parent that would come in and sit on the class because we're talking about budgets, how to write a budget, and they didn't know how to write a budget. Or parents who wanted to come in and learn about culinary arts, because we do culinary arts. And so they're taking notes as well. And the students sometimes would pan to the living room, and the living room is full of people in the house taking my class. And this is middle school, but they still were able to get something from it because I taught life skills. So I was blessed to have that experience. But I would say that was the biggest thing for me, to learn how to rise above emotion, get the job done, and see how I can help the most and help the best.
Praise be to Allah.
Yes, sir.
Anyone else? What have you got what have you learned about yourself in this journey of being a teacher?
Well, if I may, one of the things I learned about myself, and as Sister said, to kind of veggie back off that point, is, I can persevere through anything that's put in front of me, because at first, like I said, teaching is mentally exhausting. I've done physically exhausting things before. I mean, I've played sports, and all, but I've never done anything that was so mentally exhausting as teaching. This has showed me that I can push through, because my first year, I came in, I was new, I was younger, and I kind of got pushed around amongst students and whatnot. And it was a learning experience. And it was one of those ones that, okay, now I see where to go and see how I can approach this. But as I said, I mean, this was my calling. I don't see myself doing anything else for a monetary gain outside of teaching. And that's what it's been for. Cause I'm a terrible employee. More else, you guys, people I work for, like I work numerous other jobs, but teaching is really what has been on my heart for a long time. So I know this is my place, and this is the second I learned myself. It's actually finding my voice in teaching, finding who I am as a teacher. Because oftentimes, teaching is nearly like parenting in a way where you can take expert opinion on how to do what, but I can't teach like Sister Sabby teaches, like Sister Malia teaches, like Sister Brandon teaches. We all are different people. And we all bring our own experience with teaching. My first year, I tried to be the best teacher at the school. I tried to be just like Mr. So-and-so, Miss So-and-so that got them a good response last year. And I was falling on my face. This year, I found my voice, and I noticed that I was more successful in teaching by just being who I am and teaching lessons how I would teach instead of just that. Because, like I said, teachers are necessary because we bring our experience to every lesson that we bring. None of us, just like a student's not who they are on paper, none of us are a standard or a lesson. We're people too. And we bring who we are to the class. And that's where forming a personal relationship with the student goes in as well. Because if it was just you teach this standard or you teach this lesson, that's it, they can get a computer to do that. They can get a robot to do that. But what makes a teacher is the unique experience, unique one-on-one person that you get from that person besides what they're teaching. So it's finding my voice and knowing that, this is for me, even after trial and error, because it's been a journey. And of course, it's an ongoing one. So
beautiful.
Yes.
Praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Sister Malia?
I would say teaching. Wait, the question was, what have I learned from it, or what
have you learned about yourself in this journey of being a teacher?
So I'll be honest. The biggest thing that I've learned is I understand now why the Quran says that, Allah didn't create us with the patience. You think that you are patient. You think that and that's just me keeping it. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like,
keep it 100.
You think that you are patient until you are put in a situation where you have to be. Like, for example, we have to be patient in life with things, goals in life, marriage, family. But even in those situations, you're patient, but you might still grumble through it, or you might still complain through it. But with children, what I've learned is that how much I thought I was patient, I thought I was a patient person. Teaching has showed me, as Allah saying, you can use a little bit more. And what I love about teaching is that it teaches you patience in a really beautiful way, because you can't, whatever you're feeling, you can't take it out on that child, because it's a new life. This is a precious mind. This is somebody who's looking up to you. So in those moments when you get frustrated, where in other situations, like I said, you grumble through, in teaching, you cannot. You have to literally rise above emotion, and you have to tell yourself, I have to be patient. And the other thing is that I see a lot in the relationship between a teacher and a student, the kind of relationship that we kind of have to those that teach us, or to Allah. It's like, think of the patience that they have to have. I always think of when the minister says a teacher is like one of the most valuable jobs. Right. And when he says that, I think that a lot of times we're thinking like, oh, he's talking about teachers. But then it hit me. He's talking about himself as well. Like he's teaching a nation of people. And I mean, when I say nation, I'm talking about of Black people and of all of
Mhm.
our people. And it really requires patience, because you can imagine how frustrating it is to, we're talking about classroom teaching, but you can imagine how frustrating it is to be teaching people about life, about God, about morals, and then to for so long to see your student not falling in line. So you learn about yourself. Teaching teaches you about yourself. And so you're like, oh my goodness, like I'm getting, frustrated. But again, we notice with him the grace and the mercy and the patience that he has in the face of his students. So that's one thing that I've learned about myself, is that when I feel myself getting frustrated, I'm like, wow, okay, I don't have patience in this area. So this means that this is an area where I have to gain that patience. So if anything, it has really grown me, because now, because of teaching, my endurance and my longevity to deal with other things in life has grown, because I've learned how to, just be graceful in the face of a trial. So I'm grateful for the evolution. I wouldn't change any of it. It has expanded my level of patience. I think a lot of people try to make it seem like, oh, if you're a natural teacher, if people say it to us, I'm pretty sure Sister Sabbath, Sister Brandy, Brother Kid, I'm pretty sure people have said to you, oh, you're just awesome. How do you do it? But they don't realize that we're human too. There's times where, the logistics in the background, and it gets frustrating. But the blessing is that the journey teaches you how to be patient in the face of frustration. So
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Ha! Satan ain't cut her off a freezer that time.
he agreed with that one.
All right, babe.
So for me, and I was thinking about it ever since you asked. Well, I'm just gonna be honest. I'm gonna just say the first thing that came to my head, and nothing else stuck. As I was trying to find a different answer, like, should I say this? But I just have to be me.
We got to keep it transparent. We always keep it transparent on the show.
Yeah, as Brother Kadeem said. I learned through, and I'm gonna just say it, because I don't see what I don't like is, like, I have to be me, and I don't want it to sound quote unquote like, I don't want to be, not sound, because it's not going to sound like that. I don't want it to be perceived high and mighty, right? But what I learned is that I'm meant for this, really, just for me. And every time I try to put myself in another position, I can't. I've been really dealing with children all of my life. My first experience, well, besides tutoring, I worked at an after school program for years. And I just love them. I love them. I used to come in all the time. They couldn't pronounce my name for the life of me. So I let them have a nickname. So my initials are Sam, S-A-M. They call me Miss Sam. Miss Sam! And I'm like, hey, like literally, I will get on a chair and I'll start dancing.
That's recorded. That's recorded.
Okay. Yeah, and every time I tried to pull away from it, I couldn't. I just couldn't. I'll end with this. I had a dream recently. I'm not going to give it into full detail, but I had a dream where my children and I were in the promised land, what seems to be the hereafter. But within that dream, I was also given instruction. I won't go into that in detail. You all will probably, if you find the instruction once it's done, say, hey, that's what she was talking about. But I don't go too much into detail. But it's really for the next step of our curriculum in terms of our lessons, because I have a lot of lost found children. But anyway, I saw these same children in the promised land with myself. And I really want to strive to, it's almost like I'm converting at the same time, because here they are, these lost found children, these lost found boys mainly. Like I said, I have mainly boys. with a Muslim teacher that wears their scarf every day, and you call her Miss Muhammad, and I had a Muslim assistant that also wears her scarf every day, and they listen to the minister every single day, and they pray our Muslim prayer every single day. I'm not backing down on that ever, by the grace and mercy of Allah. And so I don't know. I feel like this was meant for me. So yeah, that's what I learned from teaching, is that I really can't, no matter how I look at it, I can't. I would really be burying that talent under a bushel basket, and the person who did nothing with their talents, Allah said some choice words to that one. He was like, you will not be a kingdom, all that stuff. And I'm like, dang. Really, Allah?
She said she's not putting her talent away. So she's putting her talent on Front Street so Allah can quadruple it, sextuple it, all of that.
Yeah, no, the dude that hit his talent, he didn't get a lot. He was
Praise be
hurting.
to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Well, this has been a beautiful episode of Kareem Talks. Are there any closing comments from any of my guests before we end this beautiful show?
I do have a closing comment. If you all, just a reminder that the F in Facts for Life stands for family. And so I am a huge proponent of family, of Black love, of Black marriage. And I just want to commend and send praise and blessings and shower you both with love for success in both of your endeavors. I'm so thankful that you all had me here today. I enjoyed watching your interaction.
Praise be to Allah.
I'm thankful for that, and I wish you nothing but blessings and many, many, many years of a beautiful and fruitful union. So,
mashallah, inshallah, subhanallah, all of them, and a bag of navy bean chips. That's your cheese flavor. All right, Brother Kadeem, any closing comments?
Yeah. Can I read Minister's words real quick on education?
Go ahead.
There we go.
Minister ain't banned from the show. Come on now. Go ahead. Now, by the way, if this show doesn't get on live next week for whatever reason, you know what happened. Go ahead, read the quote.
Okay, this is Further Education. This quote from Toward Side of America. This is probably 2 paragraphs. Let's deal with what education is supposed to be as opposed to what it is in America. One of the things that separate man from beast is knowledge. Knowledge feeds the development of the human being so that the person can grow and evolve into divine and become one with the Creator. It's not one's maleness or femaleness, being Black, being white. Rather, it is our growth and reflection of knowledge that distinguishes us from the lower forms of life. Education is supposed to be the proper cultivation of gifts and talents of the individual through the acquisition of knowledge. Knowledge satisfies our natural thirst for gaining that which will make us one with our Maker. So, true education cultivates the person, body, mind, body, and spirit by bringing us closer to fulfilling our purpose for being, which is to reflect Allah God. The second purpose of education, after self-cultivation, is to teach us to give proper service to self, family, community, nation, and then the world. The problem in today's education is that the root motivation is the acquisition of wealth and the material things rather than the cultivation of the human spirit. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Praise be to Allah. Woo, that's powerful. Powerful. Sister Malia.
My closing remarks would just be to say thank you for considering me and, even paying attention enough to know that I'm an educator. I want to say thank you.
I pay attention to all of my friends.
No, I really appreciate it. And to Sister Sabbath, I just want to say I just really pray that Allah continue to grow your business exponentially. Sister Brandy, Brother Kadeem, I'm just really, really happy to see a brother FOI teacher, because I have said to other brothers, even brothers like my husband, I feel like there's a lot of FOI that could be great educators. And I think that because society has made education such a female thing, your value is not as seen. But I'm telling you, as those of us that are registered members of the Nation of Islam should know from our classes, MGT and FOI, we should know that there's great benefit in male teachers, because it took male teachers to make the FOI and it took female teachers to make the M. So I'm just saying,
Facts.
I just want to say, know that your place in the school that you're at, wherever Allah takes you, whatever you do is extremely valuable, because a lot of our Black male children, even those sisters like Sister Brandy, Sister Sabbath, myself, and a few other teachers I know, even though we can penetrate the minds of Black boys because we have the teachings, there is absolutely nothing like a Black man talking to another young Black boy.
Here we go.
So, and there's nothing like young Black women seeing an example of an upstanding Black man.
Teach that word.
I just want to say to you, Brother Kadeem, and to any brothers that are watching, we need male teachers. The sisters are always going to hold it down. The Black women have been holding it down since the plantation. We're always going to hold it down, and it's always going to be our gift to teach. Right. But I just wanted to say, thank you to you, Sister Sabbath and Brother Kadeem, but also to Sister Brandy. I love what you're doing. That is needed. Family, that is needed in the community. Like, that is really needed. I mean, I come in contact
super facts.
Experiences that Sister Sabbath spoke about. I have come in contact with those same. Oh my God, it's so needed. Yes. And like you said, family is very important. So I'm just honored to be in the presence of you all. Honestly, I'm just so honored, and I pray that Allah make all of you super successful. So
praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah. Closing comments, wife.
Thank you, husband. For having me. I mean, however y'all want to take that, having me this way or having me here. I could be a rapper. I told him that. I'm great with wordplay all the time. I would just like to again just thank those around me. Allah, gods are amongst us, and that's okay, because we're taught that you're all gods, and we're striving to reflect the best. And God literally means force and power, and I'm seeing some force and power on this screen. So praise be to Allah, Sister Malia, Sister Brandy, Brother Kadeem. Just powerhouses. Like Sister Malia said, I'm honored. I've learned so much from each and every one of you. And that's the beauty of interaction. I remember Imam Sultan saying, because through interaction you learn, you pick up, and you go and take the best, as we said on the best part, and these are some best parts. Like, praise be to Allah. So just thank you, husband, and thank you all for your input, insight, and all that good stuff. Yes.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful closing statements. This has been another episode of Kareem Talks. Please reach out to all of these teachers at do you have an official IG, Sister Malia, for your school, or is just?
Oh yeah, my business has I have an Instagram page.
Did
you want me to?
Please drop it in. People need to reach out to all of y'all.
In the chat, is that where it goes? Or?
No. You just say it out loud here, because
okay.
Our audience won't be able to see it.
Okay, thank you so much. So yes, my business page is at eduexcel.llc, and eduexcel is spelled EDUEXCEL. So eduexcel, instead of educate, it's eduexcel and .llc. So eduexcel.llc, and you'll see on there videos. I've done some art classes. I've done some private tutoring classes. So you'll see all my information there.
That is EDUEXCEL?
Yes. .llc.
.llc. Y'all heard her. She got workbooks too now.
Yes.
Sister Brandy, where can they find you?
A few places. Praise be to Allah. Facts for Life Education, and that's the number 4. Facts, FACS. Family and Consumer Science, for lifeeducation.com. Same thing for Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Facts for Life Education.
All righty. And Brother Kadeem, where can they find you?
Kadeem Jamal, KADEEMJAMAL _ on Instagram and Twitter. Just Kadeem Jamal on Facebook. Also, you can find me on my YouTube page where I teach on various topics, even taking suggestions at the Big Head Teacher. So Kadeem Jamal,
your favorite big head teacher.
right? Kadeem Jamal.
Praise
On
be
IG, Twitter, Facebook's Kadeem Jamal, YouTube, the Big Head Teacher.
the big head teacher. Y'all heard him. Y'all have seen her commercial already, but
yes, I actually need to add to that commercial. But
new commercial coming soon.
Inshallah. But so I have a couple places as well. You can first call me. Please leave a message and I will get back to you at my earliest convenience, or my assistant will get back to you. But you can call me at 706-593-3205. Once again, 706-593-3205. You can also email me and or us at the Homeschoolers Society, so that should be 2 S's, at gmail.com. Again, the Homeschoolers Society at gmail.com. And again, either myself or my assistant will get back to you at our earliest convenience. And you can also hit me up on Instagram for now, but we're in the process of actually getting a new Instagram. But for now, it is Sabbath, at Sabbath Muhammad, SABBATH MUHAMMAD. And that is the Instagram handle. So I'm here at your service by the grace and mercy of Allah.
And it better be business calls for those of you who call the number. This has been another episode of Kareem Talks. Tune in next week where we talk all about the youth. Peace. See ya.